I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about this whole situation. I feel very remorseful, you know. This is a terrible situation. It's been a traumatic experience.
A mother who survived 8 bullets, a son she couldn't save, and a courtroom full of men who thought they could stare her down. That's Sandrias Mays. And before we get into what really went down in that Tampa courthouse, let's be straight about something first. If you came here expecting a courtroom brawl, Sandrias jumping over the defense table, physically confronting the defendants, that didn't happen. The viral clips circulating online are real footage of her reactions outside court, her Instagram posts, her media appearances. They're dramatized in the way content gets captioned on social media. The real confrontation is something harder and more powerful than any physical altercation could be. Here's what actually went down. To understand why her presence in that courtroom carries so much weight, you have to know what she already survived before any trial started. In August 2018, Sandrias was backing out of her garage around 4 or 5 in the morning, heading to work. Her son had just texted her from Atlanta, excited about one of his songs hitting 1 million views. She was smiling, proud, doing regular mama things. Then bullets started flying from the shadows. She ducked to the passenger side to avoid getting hit above the waist. 8 bullets still found her. Her whole left side got torn up, fragments lodged on her right side. Bullet fragments in her spine to this day. Fractured femur, split pelvis. She had to walk with a walker during her recovery. When the shooting stopped, she played dead, slowed her car forward to sell it, waited until she felt safe, then drove back so her neighbors could come help her. A nurse from next door came running out to stop the bleeding. Sandrias had the composure, in the middle of being shot, to think through how to survive. She knew exactly why it happened. Wasn't random, wasn't mistaken identity. They came for her because of her son's beef. She said the shooters later dropped multiple songs bragging about the attempt on her life, treating it like content. And even after all of that, after 8 bullets, bullet fragments in her back, a walker, missed work, a shot-up car, she didn't retaliate. She begged her son to leave it alone and walked her own recovery while the beef kept burning. That's who's sitting in the front row of that Tampa courtroom. Her son, Charles Jones, known as Foolio, was killed on his 26th birthday, June 23, 2024, in a hotel parking lot in Tampa. Prosecutors say it was a premeditated gang hit connected to a years-long Jacksonville rap beef. 4 men, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathite, Rashad Murphy, and Davian Murphy, are on trial for first-degree murder. Death penalty is on the table for all 4. That trial started April 22, 2026. But before that trial, there was another one, and the outcome of that one hit Sandrias hard. The state tried Alicia Andrews separately in October 2025. Alicia was Isaiah Chance's girlfriend. She wasn't accused of pulling a trigger. Her role, according to prosecutors, was to be the spotter. She was allegedly in the silver Chevy Cruze all night, tracking Foolio from club to club, feeding his location to the shooters in the black Impala. She allegedly booked the Airbnb where the crew stayed. She was scrolling through Foolio's Instagram in real time, so they'd know where to find him. Without that information, the whole operation doesn't work. That was the prosecution's theory, and they came with phone location data, surveillance footage, deleted texts, Cash App records, and her own contradictions when she spoke to police. Alicia took the stand in her own defense and painted a completely different picture. She said she didn't know anything about a murder plot. She said Chance was abusive toward her. She said she was a battered girlfriend who got caught up, not a conspirator. Cross-examination shredded a lot of her story. She got caught in multiple inconsistencies. But juries are unpredictable. The verdict on October 31st, 2025. Guilty of manslaughter. Not guilty of first-degree murder. Not guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. Alicia Andrews beat the top 2 charges. She's still in custody and still facing years behind bars. But from Sandrias' perspective, and from the perspective of anyone who believed Alicia was essential to her son's murder, that verdict felt like the system flinching. Manslaughter instead of murder for someone prosecutors described as a critical piece of a premeditated hit. Sandrias didn't hide from that outcome. She stood in front of cameras. She posted on Instagram. She called out the defense tactics. She blasted the legal arguments that let Alicia walk on the bigger charges. Her reaction went viral. But again, what you're seeing in those clips is a grieving mother using her voice, not a physical confrontation. The Andrews sentencing has been delayed multiple times. The original judge was removed from the case in January 2026 after an appeals court granted a bias petition. Alicia remains in custody, but hasn't faced full accountability for what the prosecution says she helped set in motion. That's the backdrop walking into the April 2026 main trial. The prosecution came loaded. Tesla Sentry Mode footage from a car parked in the hotel lot captured the two suspect vehicles, the Silver Cruise and the Black Impala, rolling through the parking lot. 3 shooters running with weapons, one firing a rifle so close to the Tesla that the concussion set off its alarm. Multiple camera angles from a single parked civilian vehicle. The Impala itself was registered to Gathite's own mother. Ring camera footage from her home showed the crew loading multiple book bags and a heavy duffel bag into the vehicle the day before the murder. After the shooting, Gathite drove straight to his grandmother's house in Polk County, wiped down the Impala on camera, switched to her Toyota 4Runner, and went to a club in Orlando that same night, where he posted himself drinking Don Julio tequila. Don Julio, the brand Foolio took his name from. Rashad Murphy bought a burner phone at a Jacksonville Walmart the day before the murder. Cameras caught him in a specific outfit. Distinct shoes, a recognizable belt. That same outfit showed up on the shooter captured on surveillance during the ambush, firing left-handed. In interrogation, when detectives asked him to sign something with his right hand to test him, he struggled. Shell casings found at Gathite's house matched the 31 casings from the Tampa crime scene down to the same brand and head stamp. Ballistic analysis connected his equipment to the October 2023 shooting, where Foolio had been hit in the foot. Same weapons, different attack. Isaiah Chance, Rashad Murphy, and Alicia Andrews caught an Uber back to Jacksonville after the murder. A $187 fare, 3.5 hours, 28 miles. The driver testified, no masks, phones out the whole ride. These men left evidence everywhere they went. And through all of it, Sandria sat in the front row. During pretrial hearings in 2025, she noticed the defendants turning their heads toward her, locking eyes, trying to intimidate the mother of the man they were accused of killing. She took to Instagram after one of those hearings and posted a message that spread across hip-hop social media. The suspects stare me down in court. You cannot intimidate me. Justice for Charles Jones. That's the confrontation people are talking about. Not fists, not a scene. A woman who already had bullets in her spine looking directly at the men she believes destroyed her family and telling them they don't scare her. She buried her son. There's nothing they can do to her that hurts more than that. She's also been speaking consistently about what she believes caused all of this. Not the streets in the way people usually frame it, the music, the diss tracks, the drill rap culture that turned grief into content and real losses into viral moments. She said her son wasn't killed for robbing or hurting people. He was killed because of words on records, because grave dancing on wax became a language both sides spoke until it stopped being music and started being war. She said she tried to reach him, tried to get him to leave Jacksonville, to change location, to step away from the beef. She couldn't reach him. Once that momentum was going, nobody was listening to her or to any of the other mothers watching it happen. She even made a pact with a mother from the other side of the beef while she was recovering from her own shooting. They agreed to stay out of their son's back and forth. That other mother eventually cut contact when her own kids told her to. After Foolio was killed, she tried to reconnect. Sandria said it plainly, I don't want to talk to you now just because both of our boys are dead. We don't have anything in common. That's the weight of this whole story in one sentence. The April 2026 trial is still ongoing. No verdict has been reached for the 4 male defendants. Davian Murphy was reportedly observed laughing during proceedings, which says everything about the distance between where he sits and what Sandrias has lived through. She's going to keep showing up, scars and all, bullet fragments and all, every day of that trial. That's the confrontation, that's the story, that's Sandrias Mays. Drop your thoughts below. What do you think the right outcome of this trial looks like? Subscribe for every update as the verdict gets closer.